Pleated Mask Tutorial by Share Our World. This is a pleated mask tutorial by Share Our World. We are going to start out with a front fabric. This one happens to be lined. It doesn't have to be lined. I will put the dimensions in the comments. This happens to be a children's mask, but I'll put the dimensions for the adult mask in the comments. I have a front piece and a lining. Then I have a little bias tape and a strap. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our front piece and our lining together, right sides together. In this particular case, since my lining is actually the same on both sides, it's not super critical for the lining to be right sides together because it just is going to be, but the front I need right side down, and I am going to sew at the edge of my presser foot just the top and bottom of this mask. This is a pleated mask. I've already done a tutorial on a fitted mask. Now I have both the top and the bottom sewn across. Now I'm going to turn it right side out, just like that. I don't usually iron masks because I make a lot of them, and I'm just going to top stitch the top and bottom seam anyway, so ironing is unnecessary. I sew again just at the edge of my presser foot, just like that. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other seam. Even if I'm doing a fold over mask that's not lined, I top stitch the top and the bottom just because I think it makes a tidier looking mask. Now I'm going to add a nose piece. For children's masks, I don't always add a nose piece, but the person I'm making this mask for has asked for one. Now I have my nose piece in. You can't actually see it, but it is the nose wires right there. Now, this is the slightly hard. This probably is the hardest part of a mask. Some people measure it and iron it. I don't have a tendency to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this down about about 2/3 of the way. Then I'm going to fold it back on itself so that this back part, if you can see this back part is underneath the original line that I made for my nose piece casing. I am going to clip that right here. A lot of times if I'm sewing it myself, I don't actually clip this, but for all intents and purposes, clipping it makes sense. Then I'm going to turn this whole thing over. I'm going to fold my back so it's even with my top, and I'm going to fold this down so I have even pleats like that. If you notice, that makes your front nice and even. So I'm going to show you that one more time. I turn the whole mask over. I fold the bottom edge so it's even with the top edge, and I can feel where that other pleat goes to, and I am just going to fold it down to that pleat. Then I'm going to put my clips on it, just like that. And I'll show you the front of this. You see, now I have a 2-pleat mask, and this one obviously is for a little child. If I make this same 2 pleats for an adult mask, it ends up about 1.5 inches wide. That's about how wide you want it. If you have it 3 inches, it's not going to be big enough. It's not going to be small enough for the area between your ear and your chin. But if I make it much smaller, it's going to feel tight. So, but like I said, this is a child's mask, so really I've got maybe 1.25 inches. You can go up to 2 inches on an adult mask, but not much more than that. Then I'm going to bring it over, and I am going to sew straight down my mask, just like that. Then I'm going to bring it around the other side, and I'm going to sew straight down my mask, just like this. Now, when I'm sewing down my mask, I am staying at the edge of my presser foot. If I don't like how even my side is, I don't take it out, because as soon as you've got it on your face, you can't really tell. Then I trim the edge of my mask so they're nice and even. So I'm going to trim the edge of my mask so it's just nice and even and easier to work with. You don't have to do this. I just like them to be a little bit trimmed. And now I'm going to take my piece of bias, and I want you to observe that bias does not require to be folded under. I'm just going to cut my piece of bias the same width as my mask on each side. Let me trim that a little better. There's my mask width. Now, because bias is pre-folded, I really only have to clip this across there just like that. And I'm going to use my clips. And I am making sure that the end I just trimmed is nice and flush with the fold of my bias. And I really do that by leaving this folded up a little bit and tapping it in. Now the last part of sewing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to sew it right here. Let me draw where I'm going to sew that. I'm going to sew it right along the edge of this bias, right here. It's going to be pretty close. And I'm going to do that just with it folded over. And make sure you backstitch this on each end. So now I have it sewn. It's sewn the front and the back. It looks nice and tidy. We're going to do that with the other side as well. And I've backstitched, so now I have essentially a completed mask. The only thing I have left to do is string this mask. And the nice thing about stringing a mask the way with the casing on each end is that you can wear your mask in different ways. So here's my string. It is obviously a piece of stretchy fabric. And this is my stringer. And it's important to note that this right here is the top of my mask. I am going to pull my string through my mask, just like this, pulling it through that casing. This untied end is at the top of my mask. Then I'm going to bring this through, pull the other untied end through the other casing, and it will as well be at the top of my mask. So now I have the nose wire in the top of my mask, and I have a string with a loop and a string. How you tie this, because it slides on here, what you're going to do is you're going to put this part over your head, and then you're going to position your mask by sliding it down its strings. And as soon as it is comfortable, you are going to tie this tight around the back of your head. As soon as that's tight around the back of your head, you will never have to retie it. to take your mask on and off, you slide this up so it will fit over your head. You put it over your head, then you slide it down into position, and you put your second strap over your head. This particular mask is designed not to have ear ties. If you prefer the ear ties, instead of doing that, you are going to cut this end in half, just like this, and then you will tie these, you will put your mask on and tie this around your ear. Now, because this is a casing, you can make that knot anywhere you want to. You're going to tie this around your ear so it's nice and comfortable, just like this. I'm not going to cut this in half because this is going to be a behind the head's mask. You tie it around your ear just like that. Then you can slide this either to the top or bottom so it's not actually behind your ear, because that's never very comfortable. And you can make this knot nice and tight so it's smaller. And then you have an ear mask. That is it. Thank you for watching my pleated mask tutorial by Share Our World. Thank you for watching this video by Share Our World.